Hello, welcome. Good morning, good evening, good night, depending on where you are. I am Greer, your local storyteller. Before we get into the little makeshift classroom for this, just quickly going over, we did story time earlier today. Right now is going to be the little character sheet segment. However, there might be a moment I have to get up, but I have a little mute thingy to throw up on the screen. This is more of a casual stream rather than a structured list video or anything I could have done. I'm a bit more scatterbrained when it comes to doing this. That way, I hope it kind of gives comfort to people that are newer and haven't really done stuff like this. It's like, it's okay, you don't have to go into some formal format. So, let's get on over there. This is the little thing for now. I'm eventually going to put more onto this. It was like a quick idea I had late at night in my delirious state. So it'll be like this for now. I will switch between this and Roll20. Right now, I'm literally just going to start with rolling for stats because I believe every time I've taught friends on how to play, they always get a little bit worried about the whole aspect of rolling for stats. So this will be just a little quick part of doing that. I'm doing this already structured for, in the future, Opal, who is one of my friends and a guest on the show. Like when we do improv and D&D talks, we have planned that she will do a D&D one-shot where she DMs for the first time, and I will be a player. And I know she's at work right now, so she won't see me creating my player on screen. Though it won't be a surprise to her anyway, since she's the DM and she has access to my page. Right now, on Roll20, the character sheet I'm using will just be on my sort of test campaign on there, because on Roll20 you can have multiple quote-unquote game files or anything where you can switch between them really easy, especially if you're a player, the DM or such. I like having one to test things out just in case, so I can make sure for other homebrew campaigns all goes well. So let me grab my tablet. Ugh. Alrighty. I just have to like move things around on my desk. You might hear a loud sound for a moment. My frames are a little bit wonky today, but that's fine. I don't really care. 1 second. Okay, so whenever you're rolling for stats, I did a short video on rolling for stats before, but this will be the more casual time. And is that a good size? That's a little bit too big. Okay. So when you roll for stats, it's doing 4d4. Wait, no, 4d6. My bad. My brain's a little bit off today. And we do this 6 times. So this is something that's very easy for you, even if you're doing it digitally. If you don't have a character sheet up yet, 1 second. Dun dun dun. So Google has a dice roller. So you can pick, if you don't have dice with you, and if you don't have a character sheet on Roll20, unless you make them, because you can just make a dummy one just to be able to do this. Because on there, all you have to do is the little command. There's either the command in chat, or on the left side, there is a little D20 and above thing. You can select the dice you're trying to roll, and it'll do it in the chat for you. So this is a little bit too big. Alright. I'll just quickly do these. And really this is kind of the easier part, just rolling them and putting it down. A lot of things that when it comes to your DM or if you're a player, whenever someone draws or does a 1, I would start to be cautious about it. If they accidentally have 2 or 3 or a lot of their stats are really crappy and there's a lot of 1s, I'll just tell them to re-roll it. Because sometimes you just get very unlucky. Not all DMs will go along with that. Some are just like, oh well, that's what you get. My handwriting's gonna be very sloppy right now because the way I'm holding this. Eventually I'll have a proper setup. See, when it's like the 2 1s here, I might just have told someone to re-roll one of them. But I'm not. For this, I don't mind having little weak points, I suppose you can say, for characters. Like maybe one of their stats are in the negatives, and that's fine. Dun, dun, dun. I'm literally just tapping the little Google thing on my phone. Three threes. 5. 4. And then one more time. 1. 6. 3. 2. Okay, so now after you have your numbers, you'll put them in order next to each other from highest to least. So this would then be 6, 6, 5, 1, 6, 4, 3, 1, 6, 3, 1, 1, 6, 6, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 3, and then final one, 6, 3, 2, 1. The next step is whatever the least one is, you remove it. And you add up the next 3. So you would take out, then you remove these parts, and you add all these 3 up. So 6, 12, 17. But I don't know why I was drawing 2. 17, 10, 13, 9, 10, 12, 14, 9, 10, 11, 12, 9, 10, 11. These are your stats. Now, there's a lot of way on this next step you can go about putting them into your sheet for the different stats that you have. Some will just say whatever you rolled this way is what you're going to put them into your character sheet. Some let you free-for-all do as you choose, and some will do the pick two. So doing the pick two is where two of them that you have, you simply just, switch them up twice. So say I wanted the 17 to come here and the 11 come up there. And then these get switched around. That really depends on your DM. It also has discretion on campaign. If it's a simple, fun campaign, I'll probably just, if I was the player, just kept this because it's funny sometimes. If it's a certain class I want to min-max, then sure, I should adjust things around, probably do the pick two. But if it's a difficult campaign, something like Curse of Strahd or other ones, I would allow players to just put them where you want. Because something like that, you kind of need the stats that you want to do. An example, when I played Curse of Strahd as a player, I chose to be Twilight Cleric. Though it was my first time playing Curse of Strahd, so I didn't realize how good that Twilight Cleric would be for Curse of Strahd. And I didn't want to go to the route of Twilight Clerics can pretty much act like paladins if they really wanted to. They can wear the plate armor and all that, and pretty much charge up the weapon almost like you're doing in Holy Smite Strike. But my character, for roleplay purposes, he had to walk with a sword cane and had a lot of issues strength-wise. So instead of doing the whole knowledgeable part of having the beefier stats be word, strength, and your athletics and everything like that was, I instead had him be more magic-based for the Twilight Cleric rather than tanky-based. So that was always interesting. If you really want to make something interesting for your characters, you can kind of choose around and do as you please. For this, let me look at what I had to plan to build. Because I am making a warlock, just because it's one of the more fun classes and easier for me to build. Give me 1 second, I'm gonna mute. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. All right. So, for that, you would want the charisma being highest, and then con being the second highest. That's kind of like a general, like, if you want to adjust things. So since con is the third one, and charisma is the last one, I would probably, okay. And probably put the 14 here and the 10 here. And then put 17 down here with 11 up here. 12, 13. So I kind of just swap things around a little bit because my character, oh, they're just going to be weak. All right, now I'm going to switch to the character sheet. Hopefully this looks correct. Perfect. This is roll 20 and what the character sheet kind of looks like when you first look at it. So from those previous ones, we're just going to quickly add those numbers in on the little one. The good thing about this being beginner friendly is that it automatically starts to adjust things for you. But first, I'm going to pick that I am Warlock. These you can really just adjust here and there. This half elf. There's a lot of things you can kind of mess with this. All right. Strength. Well, it's going to be an 11. This is going to be a 12. See, it automatically does this part for you, which it continuously goes up in 2s. 14. 10. The intelligence being so low is just so funny to me. I might change it up for their sake, who knows? But it's also funny. Alright. But at least for them, it's wisdom and charisma are your saving throws for Warlock. And as you can see, it already shows you have a D8 as your thing. Your health is usually determined by different stats here. So that's the stat portion. Now, I don't believe I'll be able to, hold on. Let me adjust something. Hopefully this doesn't mess up. There we go. I had to move my screen over so I would be able to see my OBS and this. It's kind of oddly put together how I'm doing this. Alright. You can just ignore this whole right side for now. Don't worry about that. We're just worrying about this stuff. And even then, it's very nice with how it does this. But yeah, your hit points is usually going to be your D8. That's always going to be there. Plus your constitution modifier. So my modifier is 2. So it'd be 10 as my total health. Fun. When you level up, that's a whole different thing too. You can either take the average of your die, which is 4 for a d8, or you can roll for it. Dun 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 dun. I'm just kind of looking at my notes as well while going through this. Blah, 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 blah. This part you can ignore for now. It's mostly this I'm looking at right now. Your proficiency is going to be with light armor. So for here... Actually, the fun thing is that you have a compendium on Roll20, but I'm just showing you how to do this manually, because on Roll20 you can just type in what you're looking for and click and drag it to here, and it adds it in for you. I'll show you that for like spells. So I'll put light armor. Proficient. Blah, 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 blah. Nah, that doesn't matter, the last part. This is more so you're just keeping it noted. You don't actually have to roll. On Roll20, when it lights up, it's because you can click on it to roll the dice. So if you're proficient with lockpicking, with dexterity and all that, you can use your proficiency for doing that and get your bonus stacked on top of your dexterity for that. And it just automatically rolls it when it lights up on Roll20 for you. I just put this there to keep note. Bum, bum, bum. Alright, as a warlock, you can choose 2 skills that you start out with. This, in this case, is between Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. Let's see, for this character, based off of what I know from Opal's campaign, I'll do History. And you just check this, and it gives you a little proficiency bonus. Oh, don't do religion. Oh, no. Do investigation. Oh, all of these are int. No. Okay, Arcana. Is Arcana? Everything's int. Okay, well. In that case, I'll do History and Religion. That gives at least a little bit of a boost, despite my 0 intelligence. Everything else, like details of pact magic and all that, are kind of put to the side. So whenever you looked at your additional details, like, oh, at first level you struck with a bargain of your choice and everything, you would put that stuff. Wait, where is it? Oh, features and traits. They kind of adjusted how this looks, so you kind of add it here. Let me move this. It's kind of like weirdly off center. Yeah, so you would just simply add this here, type it in, type it in. And this, you just type in all the details you want. I'm trying to look at what I want to do else. Oh. That's right. One sec, I gotta sneeze. So now you want to look at the species you kind of clicked on. Because whatever species you pick, they have their own little bonuses. I'm going to be going as a half-elf for this. And Opal won't see that until later, which is funny. I've never done a half-elf or an elf, despite them actually being one of the more popular options for players. And it's not just stats. So half-elves and elves, they're very popular for story purposes and roleplay aspects. For this case, I am literally just doing it for that. Other cases, I selfishly like dragonborn, tieflings, dwarves. Half-orc one time, that was fun though. And then satyrs. So, as a half-elf, your charisma also goes up by 2. So it's currently at 17, and now it'll be at 19. And as you can see, all this adjusts anyways, because your bonus goes to these. And 2 other ability scores of your choice increase by 1. So I'll make this go up to round up to a 2 for my bonus. And then because I could add it to intelligence, but the bonus won't go up anyways. So I will just put it in strength. Why not? That's so sad. They're not very intelligent, but they have instinct. That's how it'll be. You can also add their alignment up at the top, but right now I don't think my alignment matters for this roleplay we're doing. Their size is medium. Base walking speed is 30. You do want to keep note of your speed, as your speed is how much you can move every turn. So that is important. There are some that walk less and walk more, depending. Where's dark vision? Dark vision I would probably add to like down here. The details for that. Ooh. Yeah, randomly clicked on something. A lot of these information you can find via playbooks, rulebooks, and then online. There's a lot of free resources online for this stuff. So like down here in the features, I would put Fey Ancestry. Fey Ancestry. It's where you have an advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep. So you can like put Fey. Yeah, I'm like typing with one hand right now. Elf. And then having my little typos. And then it looks beautiful right here for you. I also love the fact that it has a dark mode now for Roll 20. Oh, well, you could have put this down here, to be honest. So it also has a lot of languages. So for something like half-elf, you can read, speak, and write common, elven, and one other language. So I would like list all the languages there. You also have proficiency with stuff like so here is where you would put tools. And so if I wanted to do the half-elf or the elf weapon training, you can pick between high or wood elf heritage for half-elf. You get the proficiency with longbow, short sword, long sword, short bow. Yeah. Long and short versions of sword and bow. So you would add those in here, and whenever you click this to roll, it would add your proficiency on top of that. With the compendium, which is on the right side of the screen, you can't see it because I have it cropped out. It'll be over here. The fourth icon is compendium. You would just type in short bow. And then you see that it's broken up in items and proficiencies. You click short bow and you will see me dragging it over, and it adds it here for you. That way you won't see the chat, but maybe the little dice will show up. Okay, it's not doing it. I thought it was. Or did it add it up here? No, it didn't. Sometimes it'll just add it. Or wait, hold on, I know what it is. If you add the short bow into your items, it'll add, if you get the item part and add it here, it'll do these for you, and you could just click that. And you, I don't know if you heard the boop. Actually, let me put my desktop audio on just so you can hear it. No, it didn't do it. Hold on. I want to make you hear the boop. And that is the roll 20 boop sounds when someone does a roll. So, yes, you can add your attacks manually, though sometimes the attacks, when you do this, it looks a little frustrating here. For new players, I recommend just looking on the compendium over here and click and dragging it. Though if you really want to kind of go through it, yes, attacks, proficient, yes, because I already have the proficient down here. If it has a magic bonus, say it's imbued with something, you can click that or add. Damage, if it's a crit, it'll automatically put like the crit damage for it. And depending on if it's a spell or something different, you would add in these little pits here. But for now, you only usually use the attack, and the damage is what you worry about when you add it in. This is just all your coin. Usually you won't see this one used a lot, because you have copper, silver, gold, and platinum pieces. Those are the ones usually good. This one I like to say is very EP anyways. The weight when it comes to your equipment and items, I usually generally ignore what your species should be allowed to have. So I'm a half-elf. I don't know where the thing is on how much they can carry. But realistically, I don't think how much they can carry matters. Like, only in the case of, oh, I'm not going to sit there and let someone be, oh, can I carry around a body just because? And I'm like, okay, well, you're going slower now. I'll do it reasonably, but I won't if someone is a hoarder with their items, to which I know because I am, I usually won't mind unless it's getting excessive. Then I'll be like, oh right, you might need to get a better backpack or something, or a bag of holding to carry all that, because now it's getting a little bit much. Let's see if there's anything else for half elf, which it really depends. If you can pick half elf versatility and pick one of the following skills. I could pick more versatility, so I could gain proficiency in 2 skills of your choice, which that's a good one. I might do that because for the setting of the D&D campaign we're doing, it would make sense for the character to have a lot of training. Yeah, I don't have a need for all the cantrips and everything because it's not going to be much of a fighting one. So I will go ahead and do skill versatility. For half-elf versatility, it's you gain proficiency in 2 skills of your choice, which is over here under skills. Let's see. For the character, it would make sense to have I'm not going to troll Opal and do proficiency at this, because if I did out of +6 I already have a bonus to that because I'm warlock. Medicine, investigation, intimidation. You know what? I'm gonna do medicine. And not a card now. Okay, let's see. And depending on which rulebook setting you're going with, like if you're doing Eberron, Rising from the Last War, you do have different things that you can do. There's basically different marks you can choose from, and depending on whatever you choose depends on what stats you can generally get. Let me look at Warlock again before I get into spells. Okay, as for the front page of all the spooky numbers, this is pretty much done. This is all you really needed to go over, especially this area is what frustrates people the most. But basically, when this is added in and you have the proficiencies based off of your class, well, based off your saving throws, to which when you look it up, it'll tell you, like, our Warlock saving throws is Wisdom and Charisma. So because of that, it just adds your little proficiency bonuses you will see under when you're leveling. Oh, what proficiency bonuses do I get per level or every other level and stuff, and you just add that there, and that gets added onto this, and that is proficiency plus your little bit here. Then down here for skills, oh yeah, if you're proficient in those, you get some beefy stuff. Especially if you get mastery, I think it's called, or something else, where it basically doubles up. Rogues like doing that with thieves' tools. Personality, ideals, bonds, and flaws, you can just, that's just personal stuff you can leave in. You just type it in. Easy peasy. short rest, long rest, you can keep track of those. These is custom mode totals. So if, say, you have a cleric and you have your domain spells, you can add in how many that you have and you can keep track of them here. Items, attack, you just type in that stuff for that and it gets easy that way. Death saves, you can keep the tracker here. Hit dice, this is mainly like if you take short breaks, you can roll a hit dice to be able to see how much you heal. I have the toggle set to where it's not advantage always. But if you hit advantage toggle, then whenever you click on any of your skills or attacks or anything, it'll do with advantage or disadvantage stuff. Bio, you can add in all this information. It's like your note-taking tab. So it's very handy for you to have. This is up to you. Keep in mind your DM can see your character sheet, to which they won't always look at it. I probably won't always look at something, but sometimes I like to breeze by my friends' character sheets just to see what they have going on, because it's fun. And sometimes I've seen some really detailed stuff, especially when it comes to allies and organizations. They'll add in their party members like Jerry, this jerk, etc, etc. Spells. This is the fun part. So depending on what you have, you basically just type it in. You select their school of magic and stuff. If you don't have a school, well, it is the spell, so that's weird if it doesn't. But you can cast off as ritual. Ritual is basically you take time doing it. You can't be interrupted, but it doesn't use up all your stuff. It depends on the class on what you're able to do. Casting time, easy peasy, you can just add that in. The range that you can do this. The target is like, oh, if you're doing a single target or for its area of effect. Components, these they'll always say. And sometimes you won't have to even really worry. Concentration is something like, oh, if you're a cleric and you have spirit guardians up, it's a concentration spell. And you would have to do concentration saving throws to be able to keep it up or not if you get hit. Spellcasting ability, it'll say in the spells. Generally, when you look up spells and everything, or if you're making them custom, it'll have like what it goes off of for you. For this, for Warlock, I'm pretty sure I'm Charisma anyways. And this stuff you usually ignore. But because it is on Roll20, you can just do the compendium and do like, let's do Witch Bolt. Witch Bolt. Okay, Witch Bolt not coming up. Eldritch Blast. So you would see spells, classes. Click and drag. Eldritch Blast. And you can sit there and see it added in all the information for you already. So if you're a beginner and it looks overwhelming and you want to do it away, you can do it that way. To which also, if you're a beginner and you really want to just figure out how to do it, it has something called a character mancer, which makes it very much easier to level up. And it'll just bring up every prompt for you. It'll show you a list of what you can click on and how to enter information. It basically goes prompt and prompt and prompt and prompt and like build your thing for you. But this is what it will look like. So if you wanted to break it down, they'll just pass. It's called evocation. It is not a ritual because it's a cantrip. You can usually use it all the time, to which most of warlocks, they will go by evocate the Eldritch Blast. That's like their bread and butter. It's an action, because cost time really matters. Range up to 120 feet. There are some bits where Warlock can do farther, I believe. Target a creature within the range. Basically means one creature. You need visual and you need sight. You need to be able to know it's there. There's no material cost for it. Visual sight, I mean. I just realized I said that. It's a vocal and a sight. It's not a concentration because it's instant. As soon as you do Eldritch Blast, it's instant. There's no, oh, it takes like A plus B plus time. It is a spell. Not an ain't. And it's an attack output. Range, the d20 is a d10 of force damage. Because the damage does matter for classes. Some have different resistances or different beef that they can be against, or sometimes if you're fighting stuff that is resistant to fire, if you are in some hellish areas and if you use fire magic against them, it probably won't do much. Because of that, it doesn't have extra damage. Some spells or some attacks do have additional damage outputs. That's why that already has 2. Cantrip, none. Saving throw, none. You can't really save against it, but it can fail to hit you. And then you have your little bit here. Higher levels, you can adjust stuff like this if you really want. So it'll automatically input that it does more damage the more level you put, because Roll20 is very nice in adjusting towards that. However, if you're doing stuff manually, you can note down for yourself like, oh, this spell does this much damage, like D something higher at this level. For this, in case for Eldritch Blast, it'll be a D10. To which at higher levels, you also get more Eldritch Blasts you can use. So that's Eldritch Blast. And this lights up because you can click it. And so I click it. You won't see it on the side, but I got 8. So it was, yeah. Different spells, different things. You have to roll the hits for some are automatic. It really depends. Well. That's it for the spell slots. This is your little tracker for them. Warlock, it's a bit finicky. So if you are up to where you can use 5th level spells, you will only have 5th level spell slots. It's a bit strange. But say you have a 1st level spell in your little memory banks, but you're up to being level 5th level, it'll automatically be a 5th level spell for you. But there's different packs you can take. Like pack the chain, you have a little familiar. Pack the book. The book will give you more cantrips from different spell classes like wizard, hunter, etc. Or bard. There's a lot you can do. So it kind of makes up for that. Something like, oh, wizard, you will have the different spell slots. So if you have something that's a level 1 spell slot or level 1 spell, and say you have 4 slots, you can use it 4 times. But if you also have 4 level 1 and 2 level 3, you can, or 2 level 2 or level 1. So let's say you have 4 here. Let's say you have 2 here. It won't let me automatically put it in because I adjusted to level So you could just mark it down on how many you have. You wouldn't go into the negatives, but you kind of run through things. If you are at level 1 spells, but you also have 2 spell slot, you can use either 4 times here or 4 times and 2 times. It really depends. It depends on what you are and what you're doing. Plus, it already will start to add this stuff in for you. But this is basically in all the information for your class and what you're doing. Your spell save DC and your spell attack bonus, the different, what should I say, table description of class will say how this upgrades for you. And that's pretty much like the manual stuff. You would put this stuff if you want to keep track of how you're role-playing your character, and so you know you're doing that. This is pretty much customizable, like, oh, if you have domain spells or something that your character do, smite, resources, just a little tracker for that for you. This is where you would put all your different little traits and what you can do, your feats, your different proficiencies and custom skills. Passive wisdom is different. Your passive wisdom perception is different from a perception check. Perception check is if you are manually being like, oh, I'm gonna look for something or see if I want to see something. Perception would be quick. Investigation would be like you're taking the time to investigate something. Passively is your DM can note this and be like, would you hear this casually? And like, oh, what's your passive perception? Oh, 16? Oh, you probably would have heard this. Stuff like that. These definitely will go up more if you have even more bonuses to them. But it just basically, the skills, their bonuses to the rolls is a d20 plus this bonus. The bonus is whatever this is plus your proficiency, and your proficiency will go up based off a level. So say if I want to do intimidation one day, it's the +4 and then +2, and it makes it 6. So it'd be a d20 plus 6 if I wanted to do an intimidation check. Yeah, that's pretty much it for going over this. All little bits in here and temporary hit points. This would be if someone gave you a temporary hit points from a spell or say an item. These little bits of the things you can add in yourself. Inspiration is a fun thing. Inspiration is basically, say, you can get inspiration from different classes. Like there's bardic inspiration, you could use this to mark that. Or a fun little thing I like to do that some DMs do, they call it different things, they do different rule sets. It's sort of like good karma brownie point inspiration from your DM. Say you did something really, really, really good, or the DM is just proud of you and they want to give you like a little usable brownie point. I would be like, all right, you can have a little inspiration. And it like, you basically get a free like d20 or whatever they want to do with it. So that's what that is. A little reroll. Your initiative basically goes off of your dexterity. So if your dexterity bonus is 1, initiative is rolling when you can attack and say, oh, roll for initiative. It would be a d20 plus 1. Armor class. This goes up depending on your level, your proficiencies, and what you're wearing. So say you are very good strength, proficient with the armor to be able to wear the armor, and if your armor says, oh, it's a 14 plus this, you would add that there. Just little bits here and there. That's where this number came from. And because I didn't add in any sort of bonuses, it's just at 11 since, well, bonuses over there. It looks a little bit mind-numbing and overwhelming when you first look at a character sheet. But as long as you kind of just worry about your bonuses and your stats first, and then you can go over looking between your class you chose and the racial traits of the species you chose, then you can slowly add in those there, and then you can go here. So pretty much go left to right with all this stuff. This is the core stuff. This is just flavor. And then at the last part, you can do like, oh, spells and weapons and attack. Because that, you can just do that, take a little break, do all that. And pretty much this is literally just adding in information. Because most of the time when you look up resources, or if you have rule books that have things you want, or there's even handy dandy little spell card things, I've taught people in person how to play, and they would pick up these little box things that have spell cards dedicated to the class you're doing, and it has all the information right there that you can just kind of go through the little spell cards, the flashcards and everything, and have it right in front of you. So you would just manually copy and paste the information. And that is pretty much it for this. I didn't want it to be too long because I have other stuff to do, but at the same time, it's not as overwhelming as you might think it is. So I hope this helped out a little bit. If you still have any questions, feel free to question me below in the comment section, and if I see it up, I will try to answer it as the best to my ability for you to make it make sense without streaming. I like teaching people how to play because it can be really, really fun and really stress-free and just having some fun with creativity. So I will kind of like make this a little bit nicer and remove some things here that I just added in for the sake of it, and then toss it over to Opal and be like, do you like them? Alrighty, let me just go over to here real quick. So, again, this is the schedule. Tomorrow I'm doing a little bit of a stream planning. I was thinking about streaming on Twitch in the morning before that, but I don't think I will. It depends if I'm tired or not, but you can see on social media if I choose to or not. I was kind of thinking of streaming Baldur's Gate to do the drops for it, because over there they have a little event going on that you can get some pajama sets for when you're back at camp. So if you want, you can follow me over there as well, and if I do that stream, maybe you can get that little item or items. It's a top and a bottom. So that, but I will also be doing my little stream planning. Let me put this up here. The stream planning and chill chat is just kind of go over what happened during this week and what I kind of plan for next week. Adjusting in my haunted chair. Stream planning, it usually only really lasts an hour or so, maybe less. I am planning so far though to take at least a couple days off next week, because there's some stuff I want to do for the channel, and I'm going to do different clip videos, and there's still the 2 projects I mentioned before that I'm kind of working on for the channel that I'm doing like outside of stream. So thank you for joining, or if you're watching back this far to get that advice for the character sheet, thanks for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your morning, day, or night, depending on where you are. I am Greer, your local storyteller. Have a wonderful rest of your day.